The signal in the wreckage. Jack Harlan was just another cargo pilot. He flew alone through the dark corners of space, delivering supplies between colonies. Nothing exciting ever happened to him, and honestly, he liked it that way. But one night, as his small ship glided past the edge of a dead zone, a part of space where no ship ever returned, his radar beeped. It was a weak signal. Very weak. It came from inside the dead zone. Must be a broken satellite. Jack mumbled to himself. He was about to ignore it. He should have ignored it. Everyone said the dead zone was cursed. Strange stories. Lost ships. No answers. But something about the signal felt different. He checked the scanner. The signal repeated every 11 seconds. Not random. It was a distress call. Jack stared at it, then sighed. Just a quick look, he said, turning the ship toward the signal. His ship entered the dead zone. The stars outside seemed dimmer here, as if space itself was holding its breath. Soon, the source of the signal came into view. A giant alien ship floated silently in the void. It was massive, at least 5 times the size of Jack's ship. Pieces of its hull were broken. Parts of it still burned, glowing softly like dying embers. Jack's heart beat faster. This ship was ancient. Nothing like human design. Long, sharp edges, glowing blue lines. A symbol he didn't recognize was painted on its side. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. He connected his ship to the alien wreck and entered with his suit on. The inside was dark and cold. Sparks flickered in the air. Something had destroyed this place, and not long ago. Jack walked carefully through the empty halls. Alien writing covered the walls. He passed broken doors, smashed control panels, and what looked like weapons melted by extreme heat. Then, he found it. A room, circular, filled with strange machines. And at the center, a large glass pod. Inside, it was someone, a woman. No, not a human woman. Her skin was pale silver. Long white hair floated inside the liquid. Her body was covered in a suit that looked almost alive, like armor and fabric at once. Glowing blue veins ran across her skin. She wasn't dead. Jack checked the pod. Life signs. Active. He pressed a few buttons on the panel. He had no idea what he was doing, but somehow the machine responded. The pod hissed and slowly opened. The woman collapsed into his arms, gasping for breath. Her eyes fluttered open. They were bright violet and full of fear and power. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Lights turned red. A robotic voice spoke in a language Jack didn't understand, but he understood one thing. This ship was going to explode. Great timing, Jack muttered, lifting the woman. He ran through the halls, carrying her over his shoulder. The floor shook beneath him. Explosions echoed behind him. Flames roared through the corridors. He barely made it back to his ship, hit the emergency launch, and blasted away as the alien ship exploded behind them, burning like a small sun in the black sky. Inside his ship, Jack placed the woman on a medical bed. She was breathing fast, her body glowing softly. Slowly, her eyes opened again. She looked at him for a long time. Then she spoke, her voice soft and strange. "You saved me." Jack blinked. "You speak English?" She nodded slowly. "I speak all tongues. I am Queen Seraphine of the Lost Sons." "Queen?" Jack said, confused. "What kind of queen ends up in a wreck like that?" Her eyes filled with sadness. "My people betrayed me. My empire is gone. I should be dead." Jack crossed his arms. "Well, you're not. You're lucky I passed by." She sat up weakly and looked into his eyes. "No. Not luck. Fate." Before he could respond, she reached out and touched his chest. Her hand was cold, but a strange warmth passed through him. "You saved me," she said again, her voice trembling. "So I ask you this. Claim me as yours." Jack stepped back. "Wait, what?" "My kind. We bond with our Savior. You are now part of something far greater, and others will come." For me. For you. You don't understand what you've done. Jack stared at her, unsure if she was crazy, dangerous, or both. Outside the ship, deep in the shadows of space, a new signal lit up. Watching, listening, waiting. The hunt had begun. She's not what she seems. The alien queen didn't speak much after her strange request. Claim me as yours. Jack ignored it. He didn't want anything to do with alien traditions or royal promises. He just wanted to drop her off at the nearest safe station and move on. But nothing was going to be simple now. For the next 2 days, Queen Seraphine stayed in the medical bay. She didn't eat, didn't sleep, but she didn't weaken either. Instead, her body seemed to grow stronger. With each hour, her skin glowed faintly in the dark. Her wounds healed without medicine. Even Jack's high-tech scanner couldn't understand her biology. Jack watched her through the glass wall. She wasn't just strange. She was dangerous. One night, as Jack sat in the cockpit eating dry noodles, he checked his ship's systems. Something was wrong. His engine core had been reconfigured. A strange energy now flowed through it, blue and bright, humming with power. It wasn't there before. He jumped up and ran to the engine room. There she was. Seraphine stood near the core, her hand placed gently on the wall. Alien patterns glowed under her fingers. Her eyes were closed. Jack pulled out his blaster. Step away now. She didn't move, but her voice entered his mind, not his ears. Your ship was weak. Now it's better. I improved it. Jack froze. What the hell are you doing in my head? She opened her eyes and turned slowly. Our minds are linked now, just a little. Not fully. Not yet. Jack stepped back. This is my ship. You don't get to touch anything. I saved you, that's all. Seraphine looked at him calmly. You think this was a rescue? What else was it? You think you found me by accident? No. You were drawn to me. The signal. I sent it only once with my last strength. And you heard it. Out of 1,000 passing ships, you answered. Jack gritted his teeth. I should have left you floating. In that coffin. She stepped closer. But you didn't. Suddenly the ship's alarm beeped. Jack turned to his console. Incoming scan. A ship was nearby, watching them. Jack jumped to the controls and switched to stealth mode. Damn it, we've got company. They're not here for you, Seraphine said. They're here for me. Who are they? She looked out into the stars, her voice like a whisper. The ones who betrayed me. They couldn't run. The enemy ship was faster, larger and armed. But Jack was stubborn. He turned the ship sharply toward an asteroid field. Massive rocks floated in space like frozen giants. His ship zipped between them, dodging deadly paths. Behind him, the enemy fired. Explosions lit the dark like fireworks. Jack cursed as a shockwave, hit his ship, breaking a wing panel. Warning lights flashed everywhere. We won't make it, he shouted. Let me help, Seraphine said. How? With your glowing fingers? Open the side hatch. I'll handle them. You'll get sucked into space. She smiled. I won't. Against his better judgment, Jack did it. The hatch opened. Seraphine stepped out into space without a suit. She stood on the edge of the ship, her long white hair floating like silk in zero gravity. Then, her body changed. Blue energy exploded around her. Her hands turned into claws of light. Wings, made of pure energy, unfolded from her back. She raised one hand, and the enemy ship's front shield shattered like glass. Jack stared in shock. She didn't fire any weapons. She used herself as the weapon. The enemy ship turned and retreated. Seraphine floated back inside, calm as ever. Jack shut the hatch and stared at her. What? Are you? She sat down slowly. I was born in the core world of the 12 suns. I ruled galaxies. My people could burn planets, but they feared me, so they destroyed me. Jack didn't speak. Then she added, I could have killed them just now, but I didn't. Because you asked me not to. I didn't say anything. You thought it? Jack took a long breath. What do they want from you? Me, my blood, my code. I am the last royal, and my body holds the key to a weapon buried under a forgotten star. If they get me, all life in this galaxy is doomed. What kind of weapon? She looked at him. One that doesn't kill flesh, it kills time, it erases species from history. Jack's hands trembled. He stood quietly, then said, I'm just a cargo pilot. This isn't my war. Seraphine walked closer. Then why did you enter the dead zone? Jack didn't answer. She whispered, You are more than you believe. The stars chose you. And now, you must choose too. Hours later, as Jack tried to sleep, his ship's AI beeped. New message detected. He opened it. It was a voice, broken, weak, and full of static. To any human vessel, do not trust the Queen. She is not what she claims. Jack leaned closer. She destroyed her own people. She started the war. She will destroy you too. The message ended. Jack looked toward the medical bay where Seraphine now slept. He couldn't tell if she looked peaceful or dangerous. The hunt begins. Jack didn't sleep that night. He sat alone in the cockpit, the strange warning message still replaying in his mind. She is not what she claims. She started the war. Every word echoed like a shadow in his thoughts. In the back of the ship, Queen Seraphine slept silently in the med bay. Or at least she pretended to sleep. Jack couldn't be sure anymore. She looked peaceful, but Jack now knew she could tear through warships with her bare hands. He kept his blaster close, just in case. The next morning, Jack changed their course. He didn't tell her. He was heading for a hidden mining station on a small ice moon, a place with no name, no laws, and no questions. He needed time to think. He needed answers. But they didn't arrive alone. The moment they landed on the frozen moon, Jack noticed it. He was being watched, small eyes behind masks, silent figures standing too still, too alert, and when he walked into the dirty cantina looking for fuel, a man sat waiting for him, an old bounty hunter, scars across his face, a cybernetic eye, tattoos that told of wars Jack had never heard of. The man smiled. You're Jack Harlan, he said, cargo runner, Class C license, formerly Earthfleet, dishonorably discharged. Jack tensed. Who wants to know? The man dropped a small coin on the table. It glowed red, a bounty mark. Everyone, the man said. Word is you've got something in your ship, something ancient, something royal. Jack tried to lie. Just scrap, nothing special. The man grinned. Yeah? Then why did 3 other bounty ships follow you here? And why is the Galactic Coalition offering 5 million credits for the living weapon you rescued? Jack stood. You should walk away. Or what? She's listening. Suddenly the lights flickered, the windows cracked. Everyone in the bar looked around in panic. Then a voice came, not from a speaker, not from a device, but from inside everyone's heads. He is under my protection. Hurt him, and I burn this moon to ash. The bounty hunter's face turned, pale. He backed away. Fast. Jack left the bar and walked back to his ship, where Seraphine stood waiting at the ramp, her long cloak blowing in the cold wind. You followed me? He asked. She didn't answer, but her eyes said yes. Jack climbed aboard, angry. You said I had a choice, but you're inside my head watching me all the time. I gave you the power to hear me, she said quietly. But you can close the link if you wish, can I? Really? Seraphine looked away. Her face showed no emotion, but her voice did. You don't trust me anymore. Should I? A long silence. Then she said, no. Hours later, as they left the ice moon and headed deeper into uncharted space, Jack spoke again. Tell me everything. No more half-truths. Seraphine didn't answer right away, but finally, she walked into the control room and sat across from him. My empire ruled 12 galaxies, she said. Our people were born from stars. Our minds were joined. We lived forever. Sounds perfect, Jack said. What went wrong? We stopped feeling pain. We stopped growing. We became cold, unchanging. I wanted more. I wanted freedom. They wanted control. So you started a war? I started a revolution. They called it betrayal. But I wasn't the only one. Others joined me. We wanted to evolve, to feel again. And the weapon? Her face darkened. The weapon was a mistake, a relic of the old rulers. I never meant to use it. But in the final battle, when my side was losing, someone activated it. What did it do? It erased the entire homeworld from time. It's gone, Jack. Not destroyed. Erased. It never existed. Jack stared at her, his heart cold. You did that? No. But they think I did, and they will never stop hunting me. Just then, the ship's alarm screamed. Incoming vessels. Multiple. Jack looked at the scanner. 6 ships fast, armed, closing in. He jumped to the controls. They found us. Seraphine stood beside him. We can't outrun them this time. Then what do? We fight, Jack cursed. We don't have weapons like that. To now. Seraphine walked to the engine room. Jack followed and stopped in shock. His ship had changed again. Its metal walls now glowed with strange blue symbols. Small turrets rose from hidden ports. The ship's skin rippled. Alive. I connected your ship to my power, she said. Now it's more than metal. It's a living blade. Jack returned to the pilot's seat. Let's see if it flies. Like one. The battle began. Enemy ships circled like wolves. Jack flew through them, twisting, turning, diving between asteroid debris. The new weapons fired. Beams of light cut through steel like paper. His ship danced in the sky faster than it ever was. But they were still outnumbered. One by one, the enemy ships exploded. But so did Jack's systems. The shields were down. Hull damage. Fuel low. One last ship remained. We can't take another hit, Jack said, blood on his forehead. Seraphine placed a hand on his shoulder. Then let me finish it. She walked into the airlock again, and this time Jack watched closely. Her body shifted. Not just energy, but form. She grew wings like fire, her voice humming through the stars like a song of war. And when she flew toward the last ship, it vanished. Not exploded. Not broken. Gone. Jack gasped. She returned to the ship, tired, glowing weakly. What did you do to them? I showed them fear, she whispered. Something our kind forgot. Jack helped her sit. How long can you keep doing that? Not long. My power is tied to yours now. The more you trust me, the stronger I get. Jack looked away. Then you might be in trouble. In the dark edges of space, far beyond their location, a council of ancient beings gathered. 12 thrones, 12 eyes. One voice spoke. The Queen is awake, and she has chosen a human. Begin the purge. The forgotten weapon. 3 days passed. Jack and Queen Seraphine stayed hidden in a gas cloud near a collapsed star, letting the ship repair itself. The atmosphere inside the ship was quiet, tense. The silence between them felt heavier than any battle. Jack spent his time staring at old maps, looking for answers. Seraphine sat alone in the engine chamber, meditating or dreaming. Jack wasn't sure anymore what she truly was. A woman? A queen? A god? He wasn't even sure if she needed to breathe. One night, as Jack checked the navigation logs, the ship's AI spoke. New coordinates detected. Origin, biological link. Jack frowned. What? A new route had appeared, plotted through dead zones, forgotten systems, and ancient gates. It led to a planet that wasn't on any human star chart. Jack walked to the engine chamber. Seraphine opened her eyes before he spoke. You found it, she said softly. What is it? The place where the weapon sleeps? Jack stared at her. Why is it calling to you now? Because time is running out. They jumped into hyperspace, following the new path. The journey took them far beyond human territory, beyond colonies, beyond war zones. This part of space was black and quiet, like it had been asleep for 1,000 years. Finally, they arrived. The planet below looked like it had never known sunlight. Clouds of ash covered the sky. Giant ruins spread across the surface, broken towers, empty roads, half-buried statues of beings with wings and horns. Jack stared out the window. "Was this your home?" Seraphine's voice was low. "No, this was the home of the first architects, the ones who built the stars." "You're kidding." "No, my people were children next to them. This world was their testing ground." "For what?" She turned toward him. "For weapons. For gods." They landed near a giant gate shaped like two swords crossing each other. Alien symbols pulsed faintly on the surface, recognizing her presence. As they stepped through the ruins, Jack felt pressure in the air. Gravity shifted. Sounds became muffled, like the world was watching him. He felt small. Deep underground, past dead halls and strange machines. They found it. A chamber of black glass. At the center floated a sphere, metal, smooth, covered in glowing lines that changed every second. Seraphine knelt before it. "This is the key," she whispered. "Key to what?" Jack asked. She looked up. A machine buried in the heart of a red dwarf. It was sealed by the first queens of my bloodline. It has no name. It doesn't kill bodies. It erases species from the timeline. It makes them like they never lived at all. Jack felt cold. Why would anyone build that? Because they believed memory was the root of war. They wanted peace. And peace without memory is silence. Jack backed away. "You said you didn't want to use it." "I don't. But others do." Suddenly the room shook. Dust fell. From the ceiling. The sphere pulsed red. "Someone's here," Jack said. Seraphine closed her eyes. They followed us. Above the planet, 5 ships dropped out of hyperspace, sleek, dark, not human. They didn't carry weapons on the outside. They didn't need to. These were memory eaters, vessels built by the ancient order that wanted to wipe Seraphine from existence. Inside one of them stood a man, tall, pale, dressed in black armor with a human face that Jack once knew. General Clark. Jack's old mentor. "Target confirmed," Clark said. "Do not kill the human. He still might be useful. Capture the queen. Destroy the key." On the ground, Jack and Seraphine ran through the ruins as energy blasts rained from above. Jack fired back, hitting nothing. Their enemy was too fast, too quiet. A shadow landed in front of them, a soldier in silver armor, eyes glowing. Jack raised his blaster, but Seraphine raised her hand and the soldier froze in midair like time itself had stopped. Jack watched as she crushed the soldier's mind with a thought. No scream. No blood. Just silence. "I can't keep doing that," she said, breathing heavily. "My power is tied to you, and your doubt makes me weak." Jack turned sharply. "So it's my fault now?" "No," she said. "It's my burden, but you share it now." Before he could answer, a new voice echoed from the shadows. "Jack Harlan. Long time." Jack froze. General Clark stepped out from the mist, his armor shining, eyes cold. "Clark," Jack whispered. "You're alive?" "Alive, and better. They offered me truth, power, purpose, things you never found." Jack raised his gun. "You betrayed Earth." "No," Clark said. "Earth betrayed itself. War after war. Lie after lie. She," he pointed at Seraphine, "showed me a better way." Seraphine didn't blink. "You failed the trials. I remember you," Clark smiled. "And you lost your throne. I remember that." He turned to Jack. "Listen, she's lying to you. The weapon? It's not sealed. It's waiting. And she plans to use it the moment she's strong enough." Seraphine stepped forward. "He's twisting everything. He wants to erase your kind from history." "Do I?" Clark said. "Or am I trying to fix the past?" Jack looked at both of them. Two leaders. Two visions. One claiming peace through power, the other, peace through destruction. "You'll have to choose, Jack," Clark said. "You always do." Jack stepped back, heart pounding. Behind him, the sphere floated silently, watching, waiting. Just then the ground cracked. A blinding light shot from beneath the chamber. The seal had broken. The weapon had awakened. Not just a machine, not just a key. It was alive, and it had been listening the whole time. Jack heard a voice inside his mind. "Who do you serve? What will you erase? What must be remembered?" Didn't know how to answer, and the galaxy waited. Bond of war. The weapon had awakened. The ancient sphere hovered in the air, glowing with shifting light. It wasn't just a machine. It was aware. It listened. It felt. Jack could feel it inside his head now. Whispers of time, memories that weren't his, faces that never existed, and the weight of 1,000 forgotten worlds. Behind him, General. Clark raised his weapon. "Step away from the Queen," Clark said, "and walk away with your mind still intact." Seraphine stood in front of Jack, her body glowing faintly. She was weak. The last battle had drained her. Jack looked at her, then at the weapon, then at Clark. This wasn't just a choice between people anymore. This was a choice between truth and memory, survival and identity. Jack took a deep breath and fired first. His blaster hit Clark's side, sparking off the armor. Clark stumbled but didn't fall. He smiled instead. "You picked your side. Good. Now die for it." The battle in the ruins exploded. Soldiers dropped from the sky. Machines crawled out of the earth, and the weapon pulsed with rising energy. Jack and Seraphine fought side by side, him with speed and aim, her with raw mental power. But for the first time, Jack noticed something. Seraphine was slower, not in body, but in will. Her powers flickered, unfocused, and he realized why. His doubt was weakening her. Everything she'd said was true. Their minds were connected. And now, their strength was too. He ducked behind a broken wall, breathing hard. A piece of metal was stuck in his leg. Blood dripped into the dust. Seraphine appeared beside him. "We won't survive like this." "You think I don't know that?" Jack snapped. "No," she said softly. "I think you don't believe in me." He looked at her, dirt on her face, fire in her eyes. She didn't look like a queen now, just someone fighting to stay alive. "You want me to trust you?" Jack said. "You want me to forget everything I've seen?" "No," she said. "I want you to remember what's real, not what others fear." A blast shook the wall beside them. Jack leaned back. "How do I do that?" She reached into her armor and pulled out a small blade, silver, curved, glowing blue. "With this," she said. "What is it?" "The binding shard. If you truly accept me, if you truly believe in what we are, stab it into your chest." Jack stared at it. "That's insane. Only if you don't believe." The battle around them roared louder. Clark's voice echoed from above. "She's tricking you, Jack. That shard rewrites who you are. Once you bind with her, you'll never be human again." Jack's hands trembled. He looked at the shard, at Seraphine, at the rising smoke, and the glowing weapon above. Then slowly, he took the shard and stabbed it into his own chest. Pain, light. Fire, not from the wound, but from inside. His mind exploded into stars. He saw Seraphine's memories, her rise, her fall, her loneliness. He felt her thoughts, her guilt, her pride, her endless desire not to rule, but to be understood. He felt her heartbeat in his own. And then, he rose, not as a man, but as something more. His wounds closed. His eyes burned silver. His skin shimmered, with blue lines like hers. And in his mind, he heard her voice, calm, strong, and whole. "You chose me." Jack turned toward the enemy, now glowing with power he didn't understand. but finally accepted. "No more running," he said. Together, they stepped forward. The second half of the battle was not fair. Jack and Seraphine moved like twin storms. Their powers combined in strange ways. Blasts of energy shaped by thought, time slowed by focus, barriers formed by memory. Clark's soldiers fell, one by one, unable to keep up. Clark himself fought hard, his armor enhancing him beyond human limits, but even he was no match now. Seraphine pushed him to his knees with a single wave. "You had a chance," she said, "but you chose the void." Clark spat blood. "You think you've won?" He pointed toward the sky. "They're coming." Jack frowned. "Who?" Clark laughed. "The ones even you fear. The memory forgers. The ancient court. They know the key is active, and they will burn this system to stop you from using it." He pressed something on his wrist. A beacon. A signal. Jack shot it too late. Clark disappeared in a flash of light. Gone. But the call had already been made. Hours later, after the battle ended, Jack and Seraphine sat beside the floating weapon. It pulsed gently now, waiting. Seraphine looked at him. "You've changed. So have you." He touched her hand. It was warm now. Human. "What happens if they come?" he asked. "They won't just come, they'll erase this planet, this star, you, me, everything." Jack nodded. "Can we stop them?" "Yes." "How?" Seraphine looked up at the sky. "We must activate the weapon. Not to destroy, but to shield. The weapon has one hidden function. A fold in time. A safe memory pocket. We can move everything we are into it." "That sounds like hiding." "No, it's survival. If we live in memory, we can return when the stars are safe again. But we'll be forgotten. Only for a time." Jack stood. "Then let's do it." But as they reached for the sphere, it pulsed red again. A voice echoed, inside their minds. "You are joined, bonded. One soul across two minds. You may use the fold, but only one of you may carry the memory." Jack and Seraphine looked at each other. "What does it mean?" he asked. "One of us will remember this," she said. "The other will forget everything." Jack stepped back. "No. There must be another way." "There isn't." "Then it'll be me," he said. Seraphine shook her head. "No, I have lived too long. I have carried this memory too far. Let me forget. Let me be new." Jack reached for her hand. "Are you sure?" "Yes." The sphere opened. Light filled the chamber. Jack held her as the time fold activated. Her eyes closed. Her smile was soft. "Goodbye, Jack. If you find me again, tell me who I was." "I will," he whispered. Everything went white, and the world was silent. The betrayer, he woke up gasping for breath. Jack Harlan sat upright in a hospital bed on a space station orbiting Earth. White lights, white walls, voices, machines. But something felt wrong. His memories were scrambled, flashes of fire, a woman, with glowing eyes, a broken world, and a silver shard in his chest. But when he reached down, there was nothing there. No wound, no mark. Just a faint outline of something that used to be. A nurse entered the room. She smiled politely. "You're awake. Welcome back, Commander Harlan." "Commander?" Jack asked. "Yes. Earth Command says you were found unconscious in a lifeboat, orbiting a dead star. No memory of what happened." He frowned. "How long was I out?" 13 days. 13 days, he whispered. It felt like centuries. Earth Command cleared him for duty after a few tests, said his ship had been attacked by raiders, that he must have escaped. They gave him a medal for survival. Promoted. Him. Shook his hand. But no one mentioned Seraphine. No one mentioned the weapon, the bond, the war. It was like none of it had ever happened. But Jack remembered. Not everything. Just a name. A whisper. "Tell me who I was." He knew something had been erased. By force. and someone had made it happen. So he started digging, quietly. He hacked into Earth Command's black box network, files sealed from public view. Found reports of cosmic anomalies around the gas cloud where he'd fought, reports that had been scrubbed. He found footage from old scout drones showing flashes of blue energy near a collapsed star. Erased seconds later, he also found a name, Project Veil, a secret program under Earth Command's intelligence wing, designed to cleanse historical disruptions and remove interdimensional threats through selective forgetting. Jack's blood ran cold. Someone had intentionally wiped the events from the record, but not just records, from people, from minds. He traced the authority behind Project Veil and found a name he hadn't heard in years. Admiral Celine Morrow, his former mentor, once a hero, now head of covert intelligence. She had signed every order, authorized every mission. She was the one who made Earth forget. Jack requested a private meeting at Lunar HQ. It was granted. Admiral Morrow's office was quiet, dimly lit. She stood behind a window, watching Earth turn slowly below. Jack entered. She didn't turn around. "I wondered how long it would take you," she said. "You remember," Jack said. "It wasn't a question." "Of course I do. Someone has to." "Why me? Why not erase me too?" "We tried," she said. "But your bond with her made your memory resilient. Even the fold couldn't fully wipe it." Jack stepped closer. "You knew about the weapon, about her. And you still let them hunt her?" Morrow finally turned around. Her face was calm. "Old. Tired. We had to," she said. "Why? Because she is the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. Not just because of her power, but because she gives people hope. And hope creates rebellion." Jack narrowed his eyes. She wanted peace. Her kind always say that. Morrow replied, "Until they sit on the throne." Jack felt fire rise in his chest. "You're the betrayer." Morrow didn't blink. "No, I'm the protector. I made a choice to save Earth, to save humanity. Sometimes, protection means erasing things before they spread." Jack clenched his fists. "She trusted me, and I left her." "You didn't leave her," Morrow said softly. "You did what she asked. You carried the memory. The fold is real. She is safe, somewhere, waiting. Then why are you still? Afraid? Because others know." Morrow walked to her desk and activated a projection. It showed a group of leaders, alien and human, meeting in secret. "The Galactic Alliance is hunting for the weapon again. They want to find her before you do, before she wakes up." Jack stared at the images. "Then it's not over." "No," Morrow said. "It's just beginning." She handed him a chip. "Coordinates. Whispers in the edge sectors say there's an anomaly. People dreaming of a woman with silver eyes. You'll find her there." Jack took the chip but didn't leave. "Why are you helping now?" Morrow smiled bitterly. "Because I've done enough damage, and maybe remembering her is the only thing that can save us all." Jack left Earth that night alone in a stolen scout ship. He followed the coordinates into the edge sectors, places where light barely reached, and gravity bent like a whisper. The stars grew fewer, the silence deeper. Finally, after days of drifting, he reached the place. A dead moon orbiting a broken planet. No life, no signal, no reason to stop. Except for the voices. "She waits." He remembers. "Bring her back." Jack landed and stepped onto the moon's surface. And there she was. Not as a queen, not as a warrior. Just a woman, sleeping in a crystal pod buried halfway in the moon's ice. Her hair floated. Her face was calm. Her body still held the faint glow of something divine. Jack knelt beside her. "Seraphine," he whispered. "I found you." Her eyes opened, slowly, softly, blank at first. Then, focus. She didn't speak, not with words, but in his mind, he heard her voice. "You came." He nodded. "Who am I?" she asked. Jack smiled through tears. "You're the one who made me believe again." Above them, far beyond the clouds, a shadow moved. A fleet, not Earth's, not Clark's, something older, something ancient. The memory forgers. They had felt the fold break, and now, they were coming. Not to fight, not to argue, but to erase everything, claim the stars. Jack and Seraphine stood on the dead moon under a cracked sky. The cold wind brushed across ancient stone. Ice cracked under their boots. Above them, the stars began to flicker, not from distance, but from interference. They were coming. Seraphine looked up. Her silver eyes glowed softly. "The memory forgers are near," she said. Jack stared at her, breath steady. "Can we fight them?" "No," she said quietly. "They do not fight. They unmake." Jack clenched his fists. "Then what do we do?" She looked at him. Really looked. Not like a queen, not like a god, but like someone tired of being hunted, someone ready to end it. "We finish what we started," she said. They returned to the scout ship, and Jack connected to the fold. When Seraphine had been erased, her soul, her true memory, was sealed in the ancient weapon. Now, piece by piece, it was opening. Jack downloaded her archive, her past, her power, and with it, the coordinates of every hidden relic, loyal outpost, and dormant technology left from her empire. He sent one message across the stars. To anyone who remembers the sun's rise. He didn't know who would hear it, but someone did. Within 72 hours, ships began to appear. First a few, then dozens, pirates, smugglers, forgotten colonies, rogue AI, even an old alien priest from a dying system. All had dreamed of Seraphine. All remembered something they couldn't explain. They didn't come for politics or power. They came because hope had returned. Jack met them on a drifting station above the moon. They formed a war council, diverse, messy, chaotic, but unified. They called themselves the remnants of the real. Jack stood at the center of the table and said only one thing: they want to erase us, not because we are dangerous, but because we are becoming something they can't control. Meanwhile, the memory forger fleet entered the system. They didn't use engines. They drifted. They didn't send threats. They sent pulses, waves of forgetfulness that erased sensors, maps, and even time records. Jack's forces lost 3 scout ships to vanishing, as if the ships were never built. The remnants began to panic. Jack turned to Seraphine. "What do we do when an enemy doesn't want to win but to erase?" She walked to the viewing deck and whispered, "We remind them what cannot be erased." They activated the fold, fully, not to hide, but to project. Jack and Seraphine combined their bond, memories, and the pulse of the ancient weapon to create something new, a living signal sent across galaxies. Not data, not orders, emotion, memory, story. It touched minds, hearts, DNA, across species. Across timelines, mothers remembered children. Forgotten warriors remembered their vows. Worlds that had drifted apart for centuries turned toward each other again. And in that moment, the memory forgers hesitated, because something strange happened. They remembered too. Jack stepped onto the command bridge of the Remnant's flagship, the Phoenix of Thought, a ship built from both human steel and alien memory crystals. His body still glowed faintly from the bond. Seraphine stood beside him. "Ready?" she asked. He nodded. "Let's claim the stars." They launched. The final battle was not like others. No bullets, no lasers. It was a war of memory and will. The remnants fought not with weapons, but with presence. Every time a memory forger pulse hit them, they pushed back, through songs, speeches, ancient rituals, and bursts of remembered light. Ships burned in color, emotions turned into shields. Names became weapons. Jack and Seraphine flew at the front, 2 souls as one. When they reached the lead forger ship, they entered it, Not with guns, but with truth. Inside, they found a being of pure silence. No face, no voice, just absence. Jack stepped forward. "Why do you erase?" the being spoke at last. "Because memory creates war," Seraphine replied. "No, memory creates identity, and identity creates choice." The being raised a hand. "You will forget this." Jack smiled. "No, we'll remember it forever." He and Seraphine touched the being and shared everything. The betrayal, the bond, the pain, the love, the hope. The silence broke. The memory forger fleet began to dim. One by one, their ships turned, not destroyed, but converted. Not erased, changed. The remnants stood together, glowing, not with power, but with story. Jack floated in space, holding Seraphine's hand. "Is it over?" he asked. "Almost." "What now?" She looked at the stars. "We don't rule them. We don't destroy them. We claim them, as all people's birthright." "And us?" She smiled. "You claimed me once. Now I claim you back." Months later, the galaxy began to heal. War zones became alliances. History, once hidden, returned. New Age was born, not of control or fear, but of shared memory. Jack became the first human ambassador to the 12 Suns Council, a rebuilt version of Seraphine's old empire. Now open to all species, they built a monument in orbit. 2 hands joined, 1 human, 1 alien. Beneath it were carved only 3 words: remember, choose, rise. As for Jack and Seraphine, they were last seen exploring the edge of known space. Not as weapons, not as rulers, but as 2 souls who chose not to forget. And because they remembered, the stars remembered them. The end.